Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Let me chime in on this debate between JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins, all right? Again, a topic, and here we go again, Here we go again. For those of you who've kept up with my videos, appreciate you guys, by the way, if you have been keeping up with them. But here we go again. Another black guy pulls out the race card and says or implies that, the Joker and Nash and Dirk have won MVPs only because they've gotten kind of the nod because they were white players. And JJ Redick absolutely destroyed his argument when he asked him, why was 90 your cutoff point? Why didn't you bring up Magic Johnson and things like that? So he destroyed his argument with facts, as you can see. And Kendrick Perkins starts getting loud, and anybody that's ever been in an argument with anyone knows it's the person who starts getting loud and gets on the defensive knows that they're wrong, knows that they actually are wrong. And I can guarantee if you were to get Kendrick Perkins in an honest moment, he would admit he's wrong. And the beautiful thing about sports and this game, whether it's football, basketball, whatever the team sport is you have the opportunity to have this back and forth, and you have these debates, and I'm so happy that JJ Redick actually pointed this out, all right? Because it is very important that we do not just pull out race cards and pull these narratives out of our ass and start implying things, because that does absolutely nothing for us. Now, let's get into why Kendrick Perkins made this implication. Let's get into why this happened and where it actually comes from, because again, I am from the state. I was born and raised in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is widely known as the place in which all of the top basketball prospects are bred. Like we breed basketball players. Right? We breed basketball players. So I've seen it as I grown up. That's what makes me an expert, my actual life experience, right? And I can understand why Kendrick Perkins would make that implication. It's because here's what happens, all right? As a young black boy growing up, if you were ever told that the only way that you have the ability to make a difference in this world, the only identity that you have in this world is through your ability as a basketball player or as a football player, it's because you're a great athlete. If you have been told that as a young black boy, when you first see a white boy, all right, balling, it leads to a level of insecurity. All right, I know this from experience. All right, I'll give you an example. When I was in high school, all right, my senior class, class of 07, the person that got voted the most athletic in my class was a guy named Colin Stevens. Colin Stevens, he played wide receiver at Towson University, and at least in my opinion, the person that had the second most votes was a guy named Jimmy DiBernardis. Debo. What both of them had in common were they were both white boys. And I remember before I got to high school, I was subscribed. I was kind of in that rhetoric where, you would think that based on what I had to live through, you would think that the only way to be successful as a black man is through athletics. And that's why it was so special to see the growth in those 4 years where I had to interact, and I had to admit that there were some white boys. And listen, I'm just going to talk about two on this video, but there were plenty throughout my playing career and my coaching career that I can talk about. I'll probably do a full episode on this, but I want to just get to the point here. Between Debo and between Colin, both of these two gentlemen were diehard Duke fans. They were diehard Duke fans, and I remember that. I'll never forget this, because I always used to say this, and I wouldn't actually believe it when I said it, but I would say it just to piss white people off, right? Just to piss off the white basketball players. I would say that JJ Redick is overrated. Knowing in my mind that he was a great basketball player at Duke and all that, but I would say it just to piss them off. And me saying that shows you why on certain levels, if you haven't been exposed to it, right? If you haven't been exposed to it long enough, if you're a black man and you see white athletes doing their thing and being better athletes, it does lead to levels of insecurity. So the solution, the answer to this issue is stop pigeonholing us. Stop pigeonholing us and making us feel like the only way that we can make a difference in society is through our athletics. We have to start taking our young black boys and start saying, look, just because you're not a great athlete, just because you're not going to go pro in football or basketball, whatever the sport is, does not mean you can't make a contribution in society. All right. If we would stop saying that, right? If we would stop saying that, or if we would stop implying that, if we would stop giving into that, then we wouldn't see this nonsense that Kendrick Perkins pulled out, because it really is nonsense, and he made himself look really, really foolish when he said what he said. Given the point that JJ Redick made in terms of why you would cut off Magic Johnson in that whole argument, how you want to take a fact and try to twist it and imply something that just isn't true, just is not true. All right, very, very important. And again, like I said, if you're listening to this on the Move Swiftly podcast, make sure you're aware that I will do a full episode on this whole thing, because this is something that has actually come up quite a bit as a player and as a coach and as an adult, as someone who's become an author. And now I'm a runner now. I'm a full-blown runner. I run 10 miles every morning, and the majority of the people that I meet on these run groups are white people, right? I'm one of the minorities now. Like in football, I was one of the majorities. Now I'm one of the minorities when it comes to the sport I'm competing in now as a runner, right? So make sure you take that into consideration. And like I said, I will do more on this very topic. Just stay tuned for it. The main website to check out is makeyourmove.com. That's makeymove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and self-development needs. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. I have a newsletter coming out. If you're a business owner and you need help when it comes to figuring out how to create innovative ways for your organization to work as a team, then I'm the guy that you need to bring in to host a workshop, all right? And like I said, the website again, makeyourmove.com. It's makeymove.com. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.